Shalom from South America. It's cold and windy today, but I would like to share something with you. The last couple of days, Abba has really been working in my heart and sharing something with me that I would also like to share with you. We are living here in an older house that has wooden floors, and I've been having all of my days trying to keep the floor clean, sweeping like up to 3 times a day. And it's just one of those life realities, unclean floors that you have to keep clean. And so then we discovered that the floors was actually in a very bad condition. My husband said we would have to take out the floors because they were uneven and unlevel, which was quite unexpected. We thought the floors was in a great condition, but when we got here, we saw that that wasn't the case. So he said we will have to take it out. And I was like, no, it's okay. It doesn't look that bad. Maybe we can still keep them, because I was quite fond of the idea of having real wooden floors, because I think it's something that's uncommon today. So I tried my best to tell him, no, it's okay, it doesn't look that bad. But he said, no, we will have to take it out. And so he started uplifting the floors in our room. And as he was taking out the wood, then I went in and started cleaning the floor. And to me, it felt like we were kind of worse off than we was to start with, because here I was struggling to keep the floor clean. And now when he took out the wooden floors, it made it even worse. So it was an absolute mess. And so my daughter came running into the room, and she looked around her, seeing the floors were removed, and she was like, wow. And I thought to myself, my facial expression was probably something very different than she expected, but I was like, no, it's not. Wow, it's a mess. It's a big mess, and I have to clean it up. And so I was a bit disheartened about the reality. So as soon as I started sweeping again, Holy Spirit just spoke to me, and he told me, do you know what I say when I look at the mess? And he said, I also say, wow. And then I just realized that Abba's perspective on my mess looks a bit different than mine does. And I was just thinking and realizing that many times in my own walk with Abba, I sometimes feel like when there's a layer of stuff surfacing in my life that's just filled with junk, either fleshliness or pride or rejection or unworthiness or whatever it might be, fear, I kind of look at it and think, I thought I kind of have already worked through this part. And then I become disheartened if I feel like it's just mess surfacing and surfacing, and it feels like I sometimes feel overwhelmed with the amount of issues in my life that on a continual basis just come to the surface, and I need to deal with it. The same way as I felt with the floors, like I kind of felt like I was moving backward when I was struggling just on its own to keep the floor clean, and now that the floors were taken out, it's even more difficult. And it's the same in our walk with Abba. I think sometimes we feel that there's always in our lives, there's always stuff that's surfacing, because all of us have a certain amount of issues, a certain amount of mess, and they do come to the surface. And when they do, we kind of always feel like it's a mess and I need to clean it up. And that's our perspective on it. So we can become overwhelmed, not knowing where to start, like how to deal with it. We can become burdened by the process of cleaning your life and purifying your life and getting your stuff in order. So I sometimes feel burdened by it. I sometimes feel overwhelmed in my own walk with Abba. Maybe you also sometimes feel like that. And when Eva just came running in and she said, wow, and Abba started speaking to me in that and telling me that when I look at your mess, I also say, wow. I realized I need to change my perspective on the stuff that surfaces in me. Because if you walk a road with Abba and he gives you revelation and you like progress in your journey with him, and you mature and you grow, and there's great revelation and wisdom and understanding that he gives you on your journey, it doesn't matter in your spiritual walk with him how far or how deep or how high you go, there will still be an amount of stuff that surfaces. There will still be an amount of mess that you will have to deal with every day in order to be purified by him, to be sanctified by him, to be made pure. And so I realized I really need to change my perspective, because when we change our perspective on the stuff and the mess in our lives, that in itself restores the joy of seeing things the way he does, and realizing that yes, you pay a price, because You sometimes have to ask him, Lord, reveal my heart to me. Show me what is hidden within me. Show me what it is that you need to deal with, that I'm not even aware of. And it was the same with the floors when my husband started lifting it up, because he said it's necessary. I will have to take it up. And he started taking it up. There was an ant nest under the floor, and there was so much more mess under the floor that was hidden. And many times Abba removes a layer. He uses situations, circumstances, stuff that happens, and then he removes a layer, and you kind of feel like you're moving backwards, because underneath that layer is an amount of junk that came to the surface, that popped out, and now suddenly you're aware of it. And in that awareness of becoming aware of the mess in your life and the real reality that of the condition that we are in, with that mess, you kind of feel disheartened, and you feel sometimes discouraged, because it just keeps on popping. It never stops. And but the Lord says, wow, he says, I'm busy with it. I'm changing you. I'm purifying you. I'm refining you. Don't lose my perspective on your mess. Otherwise, you will get busy and being caught up in trying to figure it out, trying to clean it up, trying to sort yourself out. And so Abba is busy peeling off the layers, layer by layer by layer. He's peeling off a lot of junk that needs to be purified, and we need to find joy in it because he's doing it. And when we realize that he is the one that's taking off the layers, and he is the one bringing certain things in our lives into motion, so that there is stuff that we didn't see before that we can now see, and come to a realization that this thing is pride in my life, this thing is fear in my life. It's not just some innocent way that I think, it's not just some innocent thing in my soul. It's a sin. It's a dark demonic thing that needs to be dealt with. So if we start seeing this stuff from his perspective, it restores joy, because we get the joy back of purifying our lives, because it comes from a relationship with him. It's not a work. It's not supposed to be a labor, a burden. It's supposed to be a process of love and of joy, because he is the one that is in control of our mess, and he is working in it, and he's beautifying it, and he's making it something that we could never do out of our own. So we need to really come to a place of peace, that when the layers keep on surfacing and the stuff keeps on popping season after season, and you come and you think, but I thought that I already kind of worked through this one, to realize that it's a deeper layer of something inside of you that was there, that you were not aware of, like the mess underneath the floor that we were not aware of, that came to the surface. And it's a good thing, because it means that he's busy preparing you, he's busy purifying you, he's busy really working in every dimension of your being. So we need to realize that when we ask the Lord, purify me, cleanse me from my unrighteousness, then he really does. And then we need to be prepared, not to be discouraged, that when he does reveal it and he lifts all veils and he removes layers, that we are prepared to work with him with the mess that is underneath, because he's faithful and he's merciful and gracious. He won't just leave us there in the mess. He'll be right there with us to give us his perspective on it. And I'm more and more in my life really realizing that I need to get his perspective on things, because just his perspective alone delivers you. His perspective alone heals you. I was recently extremely sick, and I realized, what was it that, when did I get healing? When did I get better? Is when I started getting God's perspective on the mess that I was in, that just his perspective healed me. So it's really necessary for us not to get to that place over and over again, that when you look around you and you look at your reality, to feel disheartened, to feel discouraged, and to feel burdened and overwhelmed by the stuff that you need to deal with. And sometimes you don't even know exactly how. But in that moment and in that times, just to say, Lord, bring me back to my true original self. Because as we walk through our lives and stuff happens, there's trauma, there's situations, there's bad experiences, dark demonic attachments come and it latches on us. And we quickly start to become something that we are not. We quickly start thinking in a way that isn't part of the mind of Christ. So it's quickly that in our life layers start forming and forming and forming more and more of attachments of the stuff of this world that just come and latches on you, and then it becomes a part of you when you continue to walk in it. So sometimes we really need to become quiet and say, Lord, remove the layers off of me, the attachments, the stuff that started to attach in my thoughts, in my behavior, in my attitude, that isn't a part of who you made me. Because I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes you look at yourself and you think, but this isn't me, this isn't my heart, and I'm walking in something that I know isn't of Abba. I know it's not what he says. I know this lie or this fear. How can I make it a part of my life if Abba says, do not be afraid, or if he says you are worthy, or if he says you are loved? So we need to come to that place where we allow him to strip those attachments, because then we get to our true original self, who he made us to be, and we walk in our true identity, and we also walk in the identity of who he is, because he is a refiner. He sits as a refiner and he purifies us. He desires to. So we really need to come to that place where we say, Lord, it's okay. You are in this mess with me. You will help me to clean it up, and you will do it in me, and you will do it through me. And I don't have to be burdened, and I don't have to be overwhelmed with the stuff in my life that surfaces. Lord, I'm human, and I come with you. I come to you with my fear. I come to you with my pride. I come to you with all of the stuff that's just circling in my mind that distracts me from you, and I lay it down, and I ask you, Lord, to purify me and to cleanse me and to bring back the joy of a purification walk with you, so that it's not a work for me, but it flows. It's a flow from my walk of worshiping you, so that our lives it's worship. Our cleaning and purifying, it's worship unto him. It's not just a work that we need to do. So we need to step deeper into that, so that when those layers come, we really are able to abide in him in it and depend on him to clean us up, and not just depend on ourselves the way I was thinking, like it's a mess and I have to clean it up. To say, Lord, you come and clean up my mess. I depend on you. I need you to do this for me. So I just wanted to share that today. We will be sharing some more videos in the near future, and also be sharing with you what we are doing here, why we are here, and just the whole vision that Abba shared with us regarding the whole mission here. So we will be sharing more videos on the app, and really staying in contact with you and sharing our lives and really our journey with you. So thank you for being a part of it, and you are welcome to share these videos.